you want your game to look better, feel better, and do you even want to play better? Well, these are the new best settings in Modern Warfare 3 Season 2. Now, I personally did change some of my settings from the previous settings video, and on top of that, there are some brand new options that they've added. Before we get into that, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel to click that thumbs up button. With all that being said, let's get straight into these settings. First, I want to show off my stats. I get asked about them all the time and never given the opportunity to show them off. So here are my multiplayer stats. 5.56 KD, over 51,000 kills, almost a 3 win-loss, which is pretty crazy because I get told all the time I don't play the objective. 4 days played, 126 is my highest kill streak, and 236 is my highest kill game. Now we're gonna be starting off with my controller settings, but first I do want to show you my controller. So it's pretty much the exact same thing. My left analog stick is different. I had to change the control freak out, which is right here. This one's all torn up, which you can clearly see. I mean, it is busted. Like, yeah, it's messed up. So I had to change that out. I got the paddles in the back. I could jump here, slide, dolphin dive, all that type of good stuff here. So that means I get to keep my thumbs on the analog stick, and I could not have to take it off my aiming stick to go jump or slide. It happens back here, which is really convenient. Now that that's all of the way, let's get into my settings. So my button and stick layout are default. I literally just showed you my controller, so that's why it's default. I got the paddles in the back. I can always keep my thumbs on the analog stick. It's literally perfect. For my triggers, I actually don't flip them. I actually have these digital tap triggers that go down as much as they need to in order to work. So I can really kind of spam that trigger on semi-auto weapons, the ones that have like no cap at all, which is really, really nice. So that's why I don't flip them. Also, it's personal preference. I just prefer the triggers anyway. My bumper ping, I have this off. Don't use it whatsoever. My dead zones. So left and right max should be 100, no matter what. Left and right trigger should be 0, no matter what. Anything above 0 for the triggers, there will be a delay. You don't want that, so make sure this is 0. Now, when it comes to left and right minimum, left is 7. It's very standard. If you're on 7, it's perfectly fine. My right being a 15 allows my aim assist and aiming overall to be a lot more stickier, so I can just kind of aimbot on the enemies, and I really like it. It used to be 20. I knocked it down a little bit and it feels just as good. This is personal preference, your right one. So if you want to do 7 just like your left, that's very standard. It's kind of what everybody does. I love this on 15. It makes my aim just literally just stuck on the enemies. It is honestly unreal. Now, moving on to my aiming settings for my controller, horizontal and vertical sense is a 6. So I used to play on a 6-7, and I just recently changed it to match a 6-6, and we're in game right here, so you could see it's just perfect, man. If I gotta jump around this corner, 6-6, boom, looking right there. Like, it's not too quick, it's not too slow. I think it's right in the middle. So if you want to start off with the sensitivity, you don't know where to start, this is perfect. And then you can adjust from there. If it's too slow, 7-7. If it's too fast for you, maybe a 5-5. I think it's a perfect starting ground. But I also recommend, before you figure out what your sensitivity is, make sure you change vertical and horizontal to custom, and it will allow you to have this advanced vertical stick sensitivity and advanced horizontal stick sensitivity available for you. And make sure it's a 1.0 for both. I'm telling you, I don't know what it is. It's probably placebo, but it just feels way better. I feel like it makes aim assist a little bit better. It makes the sensitivity feel true to itself. So I recommend doing that before you choose your sensitivity. So nice. My ADS sensitivity multiplier is a 0.85. I think previously it was a 0.80, and dude, I mean, this just feels great. So it doesn't look like a 0.85, but if you're on a 1 right now and then you change it, it feels way slower, and this just allows you to just kind of stay sticky on the enemies. Again, it makes aim assist even stronger than it already is. So I think this is just perfect. I think all players should be playing on this. At default, this is a 1. Bring it down to a 0.85, even maybe like a 0.90 to get used to it. You're gonna thank me later. Your aim is gonna get infinitely better. Sensitivity multiplier, I don't mess with any of this. I don't mess with the vertical aim access. Aim response curve type makes this dynamic. Without a doubt, there are other options, but in reality, there are no other options. It is the best option. It was almost banned by all pro players for being as overpowered as it is. So if you're not on aim response curve type dynamic, you're doing something wrong. My ADS sensitivity multiplier for focus, this is all for scopes and whatnot. It's a 0.95. It's not a 0.85 like my other one, because it's zoomed in. So I don't want it super slow. Like I'm already zoomed in as it is. So if it's moving slow, it's just not gonna work. I just knock it down a little bit and it works very, very well. Nothing over here has changed, but my target aim assist is on. Yeah, make sure this is on so you actually have aim assist. My aim assist type is on default. There's always an argument about which one's better, default, Black Ops. They nerfed Black Ops in MW2. I've used it quite a bit in MW3. I didn't like it. I personally feel like default is the way to go. It feels the best. I see all the pro players using default. So I'm just gonna assume this is the best option and it feels like that to me. So automatic sprint, make sure you're on automatic tactical sprint. If you're not, your movement's just not gonna feel good. So we're in game right here. When you have automatic tactical sprint, if you wanna run at full speed, have the best movement, simply all you gotta do, go up on the analog stick and boom. When that weapon's up in the sky, I am running at maximum speed. If you don't have this on, you now have to mash the left stick and then go up. 1, you're damaging your controller. 2, it's just slower. So make sure you're an automatic tactical sprint and things are gonna be a lot more simple and easier for you. Slide, maintain, sprint. I used to have this on, I turned it off. I found myself dolphin diving all the time, even though I had the option off, which was really annoying. The second I turned this off, I was good. Auto move forward is off. I have double tap for tactical sprint behavior. Grounded mantle, I turned this off. If you're in a gunfight and you wanna like jump shot, sometimes you look like an idiot hanging off of something. That happens because you have grounded mantle on. If you turn this off, you don't automatically mantle on stuff. You can actually finish your gunfights before you do something stupid like that. And ever since I turned this off, it's been great. I always saw myself like auto mantling random things, and since I turned it off, I've been fine. Automatic airborne mantle is partial. Slide behavior and dive behavior. So this is the new setting that they added. So at the beginning of the season, everybody was reset to tap to slide. It feels clunky. It doesn't feel good at all. Feels delayed. It's garbage. So if you're on multiplayer, whatever it may be, slide only. There's no reason to be dolphin diving in multiplayer. But if you do play Resurgence or Warzone, the new option they added is a must. So tap only to slide. So it's basically like slide only. You tap to slide, very simple. But if you want to dolphin dive, you have to press down on the left analog stick and then start sprinting and then hit the slide button. So press down the analog stick, start running, hit the slide button, and then you're gonna perform a dolphin dive. So you can fly off buildings, get better distance and whatnot. And also the sliding delay or whatever it may be, it just feels super, super smooth in a hybrid. But I find myself dolphin diving accidentally quite a bit in multi when I run this. So I'm just gonna stick to slide only, but hybrid I think is a fantastic option. It's really, really good. Plunging underwater, I have that on trigger. I don't mess with any of this. Make sure you have sprinting DoorDash on. Oh, parachute automatic behavior. Make sure this is off. This will allow you to personally get closer to the ground before pulling the chute. That just allows you to be a little bit quicker than other enemies, grab loot, take people out of the sky and whatnot. And the rest of my settings seem to be default. I don't mess with any of this other than interact and reload behavior. So I'm on multi, I want things to be nice and simple. Tap to reload, press the button once, I'm reloading my weapon. If you're on Resurgence or Warzone, prioritize interact so you could spam pick up items, and then you'll have to hold down on your reload button in order to reload. It's not that big of a deal. I always play on this when I play Warzone. You see me change those settings all the time in my multiplayer matches. Armored plate behavior makes sure it's on apply all. So you got to hold down on triangle one time. It'll apply all the plates you're missing rather than having to hold it down for each individual plate. And then, oh, backpack control, make sure you have directional buttons. That's really important too. And then akimbo behaviors. Ooh, this is new too, huh? Oh, this is sick. So when you're using akimbos, if you play an independent, it only shoots one at a time. But if you're on a paired, all you gotta do is press one shooting button and both get fired. I'm gonna play on paired. I mean, if I'm using a akimbo, I want both weapons to go off at the same time. That is so sick. That's a cool setting, I'm not gonna lie. Wow, that's really cool. Okay, and then the rest of my settings here. Yeah, that's gonna wrap up our controller settings finally. I actually have my graphic settings, which are pretty straightforward. I had someone over at the FPS hub do my settings for me, so they're the absolute best for my PC specifically. I didn't mess with any of this at all, so shout out to them for doing that. Quality settings, if I see anything I need to go over again, this is specific to my PC. I'll show it to you. I get the perfect mix of frames and quality, which I love so much. So that's why I'm on this. I don't see anything too important that I personally need to mention, but yeah, if you guys want to copy these down for your PC specifically, go ahead. Moving on, we have my field of view, which you guys can see. I'm on a 115. I don't like 120, but if you change this, you can see in-game, it is changing a little bit. Now I'm a lot more zoomed into my game, so I don't get a lot more coverage like around this corner over here, and I just feel like restricted on what I can see and what I could do. It is definitely like good to have a little bit of a lower FOV. I prefer to play on my good old 115 though. So if I go back to my 115, since we're in game, you could see I have way more coverage on my screen. I could see a lot more, and yeah, it just is what suits me best. If you want to play 120, you're more than welcome to. ADS field of view, if you want your weapon to look like it has less recoil, play unaffected. Independent makes your weapon look like it has more recoil. That's just the best way I can explain it. Weapon field of view, I play on wide. This makes my weapon appear smaller on screen. So that means I can see a little bit better around the weapon, which is great. I don't need my weapon to take up most of my screen. It kind of obstructs my view, which I don't want. So make sure your weapon's on wide. It makes it smaller, and you can just see better outside of that. World and weapon motion blur. I'm so glad I'm in game so I could show you an example. So I play on off, right? This is when it's on. Do you see how blurry my game is? And then look at my gun too. Like everything's just blurry, right? Now let's go turn that off that we just turned on, right? Look at my game now. It looks so much more smooth because I turned it off. So a lot of you probably have it on because it is a default setting. Turn it off, your game's just gonna look way better. Film grain, make sure this is 0 so things just look a lot smooth and better. First person and third person camera movement, make sure this is on least. So since we're in first person, let's do default 100. I don't think you could really tell too much, but it's 100%, so the camera does move a little bit more. Maybe you can tell. I don't know if I could like really notice right now, but you have a lot more camera movement, so the game doesn't look as smooth. Turn this to least, and then, or maybe you could tell now. Yeah, I don't know. It's least, so there's way less camera movement, and your game just feels a little bit more smooth. And inverted flash, so you guys can see the examples right here. I have mine in inverted, so my screen goes black instead of white, and I feel like the effects are reduced, they're not as strong, and you don't gotta take that hard ad blink when it's all white in your screen. So I like to revert it, it's a little bit easier on my eyes. And those are all my graphic settings. I'm very straightforward. Next, we have my audio settings. So there is a brand new audio mix, Cinema. To my knowledge, this was not here before, but I play on headphones-based boosts, and I feel like the audio is perfect. I love it. So I find this to be the best audio mix. A speaker output, make sure it's on stereo. If it's not on stereo, you're making a big mistake. Now for my master volume, I play on a 26 because it's already loud in my ear, but gameplay music, war track, cinematic music, it's noise. You don't need to hear it. That's not important. Turn it off, all the way down, whatever you want to do. Effects volume. This is in-game effects, kill streaks, the dialogue audio right here. This is what's important. The effects is like footsteps and gunfire. You want to hear that. Enemy, UAV, you want to hear that stuff. So that's why it's cranked up. I got all the music turned down, very self-explanatory. My voice chat, this is just like 20 since I've been using my voice chat now. Prox chat is on. Oh, how was that not on? I gotta turn that on. I want to hear what people gotta say. Here's my microphone. Subtitles are turned off. It's just nonsense on the screen I don't care for. And then subtitle size, I have this on default. I don't need a bigger or smaller. Mono audio, make sure you turn this off. If it's on, it merges left and right together, so you can't tell the difference between footsteps to the right or footsteps to the left. I just did the opposite. I'm an idiot. So make sure this is off so it's actually separated and you can tell the difference between left and right. Reduce your tinnitus sound. This reduces the sound of the flashes and stuns so they're not super overpowering over other audio. I know it can be ringing and annoying. So if this is on, it reduces that sound. Juggernaut word tracks, I turn this off. I don't care to hear it. I play on the Modern Warfare hit markers, and yeah, very, very simple audio settings. And now we have our interface settings, which is some really important stuff in here. So once again, subtitles are all off. Don't care for any of that. People always ask me, hey, Frizz, why is your game so beautiful and whatnot? Listen real closely. This is the secret sauce. So all the way down to color filter settings right here, right? Color filter, make sure it's 2. Color filter target, make sure it's both. And then world and interface color intensity, make sure both are 100. Thank me later. That's it. That's all I gotta say. My HUD bounds, now I'm glad I'm in game for this as well, so I wanna, wait, can I make it? Oh yeah, I can, okay, so I'm gonna change it up. So now that we're gonna apply that. So if you guys look at my HUD, right, you see how my mini map is all the way in the top left. My streaks, my ammo, it's all on the bottom right. You can see all my kill streaks, right? Right below my cam, okay. Got it, that's annoying. I don't like it like that. Let's go back to interface settings and HUD bounds. Let's bring this all back in. Bring it all back in. I want it closer to the center of my screen where everything really matters. Boom. Look, you guys can't see my 3rd kill streak anymore. My mini map was brought in. So now I could look to the center of my screen right here where I could stick to this. This is where enemies are gonna be, right here, right? So when I wanna look at my radar, I could quickly glance at it and then glance to the middle of my screen again. How much ammo do I need? Oh, I gotta reload. Okay, let me reload. It's a little bit closer to the center of my screen. Look back to the center of the screen again. So, yeah, when it's further away, you have to look further away and it takes you away from the center of your screen where the enemies are at. So you got to bring that in a little bit. Minimap, it's pretty straightforward. The circular minimap doesn't have good coverage. Square minimap, way better coverage. You can see better. So when there's a UAV or an advanced up, you can see much more enemies and whatnot. So much better. Minimap rotation, have this on. The compass, I personally don't use it for call outs. It's just nonsense on my screen I don't care for, so I turn this off. Crosshairs, I have this on, and then I have the center dot on largest, and that's the dot you can see right here in the center of my screen. So it's pretty damn big. This is where you want this dot on enemies. So it just makes it a little bit easier on me to center it on enemies, and it helps out with my centering, which is one of the most important things when it comes to winning gunfights in Modern Warfare 3. Player names is abbreviated. People ask me about this all the time. Like, what? I want to see the dot. Like, I want to see that, all that nonsense. Make sure it's on abbreviated. You'll see that. The rest of this is, all the other settings I didn't say anything about. Pretty default. I don't change anything about. Telemetry, this is where you could change your FPS count. See top left where I'm changing my FPS on and off. I keep these 3 on, they're the most important. Gameplay tips, tool tips, all that's off. It's random nonsense. And that's all my interface settings that are actually important. That's gonna wrap it up for today's settings video. Let me know in the comments if you have any comments, questions, or concerns about anything I covered. And also let me know if you guys like that I went in game, kind of showed examples and I could show you the difference of different settings. I actually really liked doing that. I feel like it helped out a little bit, but that's gonna wrap it up. I'll see you on the next one. You guys all stay safe. Have a great day and I'm out. Peace.